Moving office or commercial premises is something that most organisations do very infrequently. Some people may never have had to deal with the challenges involved in making such a change, not just finding the right property to move to, but then negotiating the lease and everything that goes with it. Daniel, can you explain some of the issues people need to be aware of when negotiating a new lease?
The main decision you need to make is whether you're going to stay in your existing premises or look for somewhere new. If you need to move because you need more space or because you need different facilities, then that's a straightforward decision. But if it's simply a case that your lease is coming to an end in a year's time or so, then that's a bit more complicated. I would recommend that you take professional advice. A lot can depend on whether your lease is inside the Landlord and Tenant Act, but you also need to think about whether the current terms of your lease can be improved, perhaps the rent can be reduced, whether there are break clauses that can be exploited, and of course what your landlord's plans are.
If deciding to stay is the preferable option, what should we do?
Well, under the Landlord and Tenant Act there is a procedure for notices to be served by the landlord or the tenant in the last year of the lease. So you will be able to find out by using that procedure whether your landlord, for example, intends to redevelop the building. And it's important to find that information out in advance because you may be entitled to compensation if that is the case.
And if we do need to move on?
You have to consider your obligations in your own lease and think about things like the cost of dilapidations and repair, which can be quite expensive when you move out of premises. I would recommend that you employ a good team of an agent and a solicitor to help you with the move from a fairly early stage. They can advise you on the procedures for leaving your existing premises and to help you look for new premises and negotiate the best terms and guard against the pitfalls. They very much work together to maximise the benefit to you. It's sensible to have them both involved from an early stage.
What sort of issues can your agent and solicitor advise you on?
Well, they'll look at a lot of different things, but some of the main ones are the length of the lease that you might take, the other terms covering your repairing obligations, whether there are any break clauses. For example, a shorter lease which might be favoured by a tenant can cost less in stamp duty than a longer lease which might be favoured by a landlord. And similarly, a direct lease from a landlord as opposed to a subtenancy involving a number of other parties can be more straightforward and cheaper at the time and also during the term of the lease. Our website details are on the screen now, and so is our phone number, and if you'd like to contact me, I'd be more than happy to help.